Hey, what's up, guys? Pack back here again. And before we continue with the rest of the video, don't forget to go to tixfilm.com and use Pack10 for 10% off. You can enjoy some of the best sleeves and playmats that Supreme Pro has to offer. Use Pack10 and get 10% off. Enjoy the rest of the video. See ya.
All right, yo, what's up, guys? So welcome to the Banlist prediction. After NAWCQ and Euros finish, I figured I share what I think the next August Banlist will look like. Konami, I gotta give you guys your flowers. After Konami announced that they are going to be releasing a Banlist at the end of August, I figured why not make a prediction. And look, guys, I know the comments are gonna go crazy like they always do during every Banlist prediction. But I do think that what I have is a combination of the most accurate Banlist prediction, Copium, as well as some wish lists. I think right now what I currently see, just kicking it right off, in the forbidden side, is I think Flambers should get banned, and I could see it getting banned. I think Snake Eyes has been dominating the meta for a very long time now. And this might be, I don't know, this might be the time where we can finally see Snake Eyes rotate out of the meta, but still making the Snake Eye engine still playable for like other fire archetypes. So yeah, I think like a good hit would be Flamberge. I could also see the inverse, which is like they keep Flamberge and they just limit Snake Eye Ash. I think it's one or the other, so I have it like here because I don't know what exactly will happen, but to hedge my bets, I would put either or. I wouldn't say both of these will happen, but I think it's either ban Flamberge or limit Snake Eye Ash, in my opinion. And then of course the next culprit is like Beatrice. I think we've seen some degenerate strategies come out of Beatrice, and this is a card that has been, honestly, people have been begging for a ban ever since like she's been legal. I don't think Beatrice has ever been used for good, and usually like it's been involved in like some pretty degenerate strategies, especially with like the Mayakashi traps, the rollback, the Angel of Blue tiers now. Yeah, I think Beatrice getting hit would be, or getting banned would actually be pretty reasonable. I think like the reason why they wanted to wait after Nats, after Euros, is because they wanted to see the impact of Beatrice, and I think Beatrice is a card that could honestly just get banned. Yeah. Moon of the Closed World, I think this is gonna be a hot take. Might get a lot of pushback on this. I think the reason why this card was a common in the latest set was because of the fact that they were planning to hit it. They kind of like put it in, or like made it legal, and I think they're gonna take it away, similar to how they took away the Heavy Samurai Link 1 away. It's a common. I think a lot of people won't lose a lot of money if this card goes out of rotation, and the Feastsmith engine is still viable and full power, right? So I think like banning Moon of the Closed World will allow you to still play the Feastsmith cards, but just not make it as easily accessible with any two monsters, which I think is totally fair. There'll still be ways to bridge Requiem, right? You can look for rank 3 Light Fiends, rank 4 Light Fiends, and you can look for other ways to get access to Light Fiends, but it just won't be as generic as two monsters. So I think that's gonna be kind of nice. So the next is gonna be something close and dear to my heart, either Sanctifier or Gimmick Puppet / Ito gets banned. So I think they either go for the Master Rule approach, where they ban Gimmick Puppet Nightmare and then they ban Ito, or of course they try to go for like the Sanctifier hit, which is honestly the other, I think, reasonable thing to do. So one of those. I mean, I think there's not much that needs to be said. We both know how unfair they can be. So yeah. Lastly, our next that's up on the list, the Chopping Block. And I think this is more of a wish list. I doubt this would happen, but I hope that Konami takes away something from the live streams these past 2 weekends. I think Dogwood has to go. The card just promotes degenerate gameplay, where people just take their time and try to like go to game 3 and resolve wood, like resolve the Dogwood, and just kind of like win off that cheese hand trap. Honestly, when it's close to time, you can even argue that like Dogwood is even better than Maxi, because of like how ignorant it is. Like I just think that this card promotes very degenerate gameplay, and it promotes people like going to time almost on purpose. So I feel like Dogwood is something that should be hit to kind of like, because I think the only way to like solve the time issue is obviously people could just play faster, but I think that because we have evolved the game in such a pace that the combos just take quite a while now. Like look at the Euwcq combos. Like it's not, it's not something you could just do like in a couple minutes. It might just take like 5-6 minutes now, 7 minutes. So I think that card getting hit would be pretty solid. Calamity, I mean, Centurion's getting a lot more support. Whitewoods literally makes Calamity for fun. I think they're on the trends of hitting Floodgate type extra deck cards, so I think Calamity is a card that can be on the chopping block. Appaloosa IP, I think my chat was kind of suggesting for this. I was more proponent of Appaloosa ban. Maybe keep IP, but definitely one of these two. The main reason why I think Appaloosa has to go is because it's almost like too easy to insulate yourself from a lot of plays because of Appaloosa. Like Appaloosa is almost, it's just like too easy to summon. Like I said, modern Yuga has evolved to a point where summoning 4 monsters or getting 4 link materials worth of bodies for Appaloosa is like, it's just too easy. And I think that like any deck that can swarm bodies on the board, that's just like a very easy generic piece of end board where I think by banning Appaloosa, you can see more diversity and creativity in end boards, right? That I think could be quite interesting. A good example is like Yugioh Blackout, right? Or like maybe the Ritual Beast end board, like, Steeds plus the Link 4, right? Like the Ritual Beast Link 4 plus Steeds. I think we're gonna see more interesting and creative end boards if cards like Appaloosa gets banned. Yeah. Even the Fire King end board, right? Like, so I think that would be kind of neat. Like Arvada into the rank 8 into Promethean. Like I think like you will see more diversity in end boards and more interactive end boards if Appaloosa gets hit, because Appaloosa is honestly a floodgate. Like when your deck don't have outs to Appaloosa, you just lose on the spot majority of the time. Because Appaloosa in this modern day format just can't be ran over, especially with like Nightmare Phoenix co-linked to it. So yeah, I just think that like Appaloosa is really, really absurd. And if you've played the format, you'll see how like toxic it can be, right? So like I literally remember I played the game against Tenpai where I won after getting like triple dark hold, right, Geki'd, just because I had made an Appaloosa format Appaloosa with IP and Nats, and it just won me the game. Which is crazy, right? IP Masquerena, like I can see it staying. I can also see getting hit. It definitely makes like SP like absolutely absurd. It's like, what I'm saying? So I think it could stay because I think like advocating for more removal type interaction is kind of neat. So I could see it staying for like SP purposes. Terraforming banned because it's just like I think the quality of field spells in the game are just like really, really good right now. The Gimmick Puppet FTK Dex has a really good field spell. You have Sanguine Summoning. Like what else is there? You have like Runic Fountain. There's just like too many good field spells I think in the current meta game, and the field spells are, I think, Secret Village, Necro Valley. Like there's just too many like disgusting field spells. So I think like having it be hit is good. Like Nightmare Throne is another good example. So yeah. In the limited section, I have Sega Ash, which I already talked about. It's either that or Flamerage, one or the other. I have Wanted at 1. I think Wanted could stay at 1, but Witch could stay at 3. And the reason why I say that is because I think that Wanted plus the +1 from Wanted is just too OP. But I still think Witch is like really, really good. I think you can still keep the engine playable to summon fire monsters without having like Ponix or like Hydrant, without making it too oppressive. Skill Gen 1, I think that's kind of the trends of all the floods. They've been putting all the floods to 1. I think Skill Gen is the next on the chopping block. I think we see that Skill Gen has been stealing a lot of games, and it's just a really, really good flood, honestly. Heavy Storm to 1 is something I took inspiration from the OCG. Could see that happen in the TCG as well, especially with like cards like Duster, cards like Change of Heart, Snatch Steal. Like all those cards are at 1. I think Heavy Storm is gonna be the next kind of like arcade card that comes back to the game. So just more removal. I don't think maybe there'll be a way to abuse it with like Unchained or something like that, but I think Heavy Storm is definitely next on the list to come back. Second comment, second something to one. I'll be honest, guys. I have no idea how to hit 10 pi. I try to like put terraforming the band to hit 10 pi, limiting the spells to kind of hit 10 pi a bit. I mean, that deck is just like really difficult to hit without killing it. But I think you have to try to lower the consistency of it in a way. But they do have like, you know, Drago and like a bunch of other stuff. I think summoning to 1 to have it actually lose the hand traps could actually be kind of nice. And then Pot of P to 1. This is a card that should have been hit like, you know, a while ago, especially even during cash format. Like Prosperity is seeing the top 6 cards of your deck arguably is like better than Pot of Greed, to be honest. Like being able to see the top 6 cards of your deck is like crazy, right? Like I think because you get to choose which cards you want. So yeah, I don't know. I think that's just like digging that deep into your deck is just too crazy. Yamato 1 I think is gonna be a troll hit. Konami usually does 1 or 2 troll hits. I think Yamato 1 is gonna be the troll hit. Makes you still playable. I don't know. I think it should be banned, but I can see it going to 1. Runic Fountain, Runic Tip. These cards will probably not get hit, but especially because, you know, Josh works at Konami. So while Josh still is a Konami employee, I think these cards will probably go to 1. I think Runic Stun has been very prevalent. It has been consistently topping YCSs, Nats, Euros. I mean, they got to do something, right? Like, I know people say that Runic cards aren't the issue, but I do think that, like, if you hit the power, like, if you hit the Runic Fountains and the tips, it makes Runic Stun a lot worse because they don't get to generate advantage as quick. And it buys you enough time to kind of, like, outlast their floods and, like, you know. So, I just think that, like, being able to hit those cards is, like, should be kind of nice. Opening the Spirit Gates, honestly, small hit to Yugioh. I think Yubel's like gonna be the next deck to kind of like beat the top deck. I think this is the way to do that. Protos to 1, which is basically keeping Protos the same, is something I think will happen. I don't think they'll hit Protos because of Ritual Beast. I think they understand that like Protos is a really good card in Ritual Beast, but I think they might just keep it at 1. I don't think they'll hit it. Summon Sword could go to 1. I think this is something that, especially because of the new errata, I can see it going back to 1. I have Gamma here at 2, and that's because I think Konami is realizing that Yu-Gi-Oh is heading in a game where it's evolving very quickly in terms of power creep, and they are trying to print new hand traps. Like, you know, there's like a new Dominus hand traps that's coming out that like negates special summons. It's like a trap, and I think that Gamma is kind of like a card that Simmons and Master Duel could be kind of at 2. You play 1 break for 2 good cards, should be kind of fine. So I think like they might move Gamma back to 2. I think which original season 3 I already mentioned about. Some honorable mentions would be like Pank going 3 could be a really fun hit to try, and you know, some people might take the board breaker approach. So Pank to 3 is good, and I think Change Your Heart to 3 is another really good. Because I think like take cards are like, but I think take cards are something that we've seen increase in popularity, but obviously everyone defaults to hand traps. Maybe by putting more breakers on the list, we might see more of a breaker approach to the meta game. So that'll be, I think, kind of interesting to see. So that's pretty much my Banlist thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think. If you you know, have any thoughts for your own Banlist prediction, what do you think the late August Banlist will look like? Kind of hoping it does make a big impact because I think the game is kind of like in a crazy spot right now, and I think like maybe if we can get a really big ban list would be kind of nice. And I think the fact that they announced it almost makes it seem like it might be a really big list because I feel like they're almost like hyping it up almost, right? So yeah, kind of excited to see what Konami actually ends up deciding, and maybe we can do a video where we review how close we were. And see how right or wrong we were. So definitely gonna be looking forward to the next ban list for sure. But hope you guys enjoyed the video and the analysis, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe.